Good morning, Geeks and Gamers. I'm back. Blurry Cast 199 was an overwhelming success. So I figured I'd bring it back today because apparently my damn camera is still blurry. But that's okay because it's Geeks and Gamers Daily Time. And we have Fear the Beardo in the house.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, good to be here. It's been a while since I've been on Daily, but it's always a good time talking with you guys, especially first thing in the morning is I want to look at your two faces.
That sounded
man,
super corn worthy right there.
Let's get the corn emojis in the chat. But yeah, man, spooky season is around the corner. We're going to be doing some Halloween stuff, hopefully with the team very soon. And we're just 29 days away from Spider-Man 2 Game of the Year, baby. Let's go. Let's lock it in.
Oh, my God. Game of the Year is Titanfall 2, all right? I'm standing by it. So I'm standing by it. What's up, Hollywood Scholar? We got Jed on here today.
Yes.
What's up, bro?
Not much. I'm very happy to be here for my first daily, especially because I need some good comedy in the morning, and Beardo's takes are always so laughable that they just injuvenate me, wake me up in the morning like, oh yeah, somean really thinks that. So it is great to be here.
Thanks, bro.
Very good point.
You're
very
welcome.
good point.
Thanks, bro. Love you too.
I mean, I was thinking about just canceling today's show, play Titanfall 2, but the show must go on, so that's why we're here. But yeah, I'll vote for Titanfall 2 for Game of the Year. What I would love to do is get us to that point where I can rebuild the website and we can make it where we can have our own Game of the Year for G&G and the 199. We can have video games of the year, TV show of the year, movie of the year, woke weirdo of the year, whatever we want to do.
What we'll do is we'll organize it. We'll make it a stream first, and then we'll have one of the writers on the website just sift through the live stream and then just type it all up on the website.
Yeah,
but I think we should stream the shit. Obviously, we'll
Yeah,
all dress nice. We'll wear a nice collared shirt, a tie. It'll be professional.
We got to announce the different categories, too, when we win. Have each person have their own category. Got to have a monologue. And, of course, have people standing in for the winners and have cringe speeches. Got to make it feel as authentic as possible.
Yeah. Seriously, we could have the woke weirdo of the year. We could have the based individual of the year, wokest company of the year,
beard of shame of the year,
beard of shame of the year.
Ooh, the TDs of the year.
The TDs of the year. We also super chatter of the year. And look who commented it. Look who commented.
Oh man.
I think he would have a very good idea of who's the best, who's on top.
Oh yeah. Cream of the crop right there, man.
It would be like I really want to do that. I really want to build that out, and it could be a yearly thing where we're actually working towards something every year. That would lurker of the year, chat comment of the year. Come on, see, everybody's getting involved. Let's
do it, man. Let's freaking do it.
We could probably pull it together for the end of the year this year. So we need to start thinking about how that looks, and then this could be the end of the year awards for the 199. I like it. I think that's a damn good idea.
We should schedule it for the same night of the Oscars and see if we can beat their viewership figures.
Hey, let's go. That probably won't be too difficult if I could have made it enough. So, Tomac 450. So, if you are going to make a History of Titans channel, can you tell us what are the 3 protocols on the history? So I was watching. Actually, there's this whole lore video on Titanfall. I've watched it before, and I was watching it again because it's kind of crazy. The first Titanfall game has no campaign whatsoever. All right, no campaign at all, except for within the multiplayer. Because did either one of you play the first Titanfall?
Nope.
I
didn't play Titanfall until a few months ago. It went on sale on PlayStation. We tried a little bit. The servers weren't really up to par, and then I played like a match and a half, and then not really until the other night when me and you were playing.
Yeah, so the first Titanfall game has no campaign whatsoever, except it has this little bitty kind of like story within the multiplayer, which is like why nobody paid attention to it. I knew nothing about the story in Titanfall 1 because while you're playing the multiplayer, I guess there's like supposed to be some minor little storyline intertwined in the multiplayer as you're doing it, which kind of chaotic. So I knew nothing about the world. There was no lore to the world at all for me. And then of course they came out with Titanfall 2, and that has a brilliant campaign, phenomenal campaign, incredibly underrated campaign, and it takes you through it. But there is lore to it with the IMC and everything like that. There's a lot of actual lore with Titanfall that you could make a fucking movie out of Titanfall. You really could. There's some really cool lore to it with the pilots and obviously the mechs and how they were created, why they were created. But again, how many times have we said this about whether it's Halo or Half-Life or, you know, something amazing in the video game world that they could make a movie out of?
And then they go and ruin it.
And
The
I
Last of
agree.
Us.
I agree. The Titans, I will say the Titans are better in the first game than the second game. There's more, they're more customizable. They're strong. The mechanics are slightly better with the Titans, in my opinion, in the first game. Now, I haven't played the first game in a long fucking time. A long time.
It'd be interesting to see if it holds up.
Yes. And so, let's see. Naaman says, yeah, Titanfall 1 coming out and the devs hanging their hat on how cool it was that you could call down your own mech, that no attention was paid to much else. That's true. I knew nothing about the story. But can't stop thinking about it. All right. Blake Barrett says, do you remember the 21st night of September? Is that a song? Or is it like isn't that something to do with the song?
I don't know. There's a Green Day song, I think, called When September Ends.
Nah, it's not a Green Day song.
No.
I don't know who it is. It's a song. Do you remember the 21st night of September? I feel like that's a reference to a song.
Let us know, chat.
Yeah. Yes, Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's right. Yes, okay. Earth, Wind, and Fire. It is. I don't know if it's the title of the song. It's within the song. I can't remember. Jay's saggy orangutan titties for $199.
Hell yeah.
Hey, hell all. Happy Friday. Thank you. Oh my God. Dougie B dropped the 50.
Doug B
is in the house dropping 50 bombs. Holy crap. All right. So we got to talk about a few things. Beardo, if you want to go ahead and pull up this thing with Rumble, let's talk about that. So as everybody knows, Russell Brand, and we've talked about this a little bit on the channel a few times. Russell Brand is an individual that has been a relatively big star in Hollywood in the past. He was married to Katy Perry, who's one of the biggest stars in the world. He was in all of these comedies. He was everywhere. Russell Brand was everywhere years and years ago. I never liked Russell Brand. I never thought he was funny. I thought he was always mega cringe, and I never wanted to see anything with him in it. Obviously, in the last several years, Russell Brand has become far more aggressive with calling things out, like Big Pharma and the left, and calling out a lot of different things. And he's really elevated his social media stature because of that. Moved up to like 6 million subscribers on YouTube, been featured all over the place. I can't tell you I became a fan of his. I still wasn't a fan of his. You know, that's just how I am about it. I'm not saying I don't agree with a lot of what he's been saying. I just don't particularly care about Russell Brand. With all that said, apparently whenever you fly a little too close to the sun, things like this happen.
Yeah.
And not only just Russell Brand, but so many other people have been caught up in accusations. Now, again, just because there's an accusation, it doesn't mean they're guilty. It doesn't mean they're innocent. It means they deserve their day to be heard and to prove their innocence. But unfortunately, in this climate and time, if you go against a certain set of politics, you don't get due process. You just get thrown under the bus. So YouTube decided to demonetize Russell Brand's entire YouTube channel of 6 million subscribers because of an accusation. Mm-hmm. And now we have this from the UK Parliament reached out to Rumble. Russell Brand is huge on Rumble. If you can blow that up a little bit. And Russell Brand is huge on Rumble. And so right here from Rumble, it says Rumble's response to the UK Parliament's letter to our CEO, Chris Pavlovsky. If you want to read it, Beardo, because this is awesome.
Yep. Today we received an extremely disturbing letter from a committee chair in the United Kingdom Parliament. While Rumble obviously deplores sexual assault, the R word, and serious crimes, and believes that both alleged victims and the accused are entitled to a full and serious investigation, it is vital to note that recent allegations against Russell Brand have nothing to do with content on Rumble's platform. Just yesterday, YouTube announced that based solely on these media accusations, it was barring that Mr. Brand from monetizing his video content. Rumble stands for very different values. We have devoted ourselves to the vital case of defending a free internet, meaning an internet where no one arbitrarily dictates which ideas can or cannot be heard, or which citizens may or may not be entitled to a platform.
It's so beautiful. Go ahead.
Yeah. We regard it as deeply inappropriate and dangerous that the United Kingdom Parliament would attempt to control who is allowed to speak on our platform or earn a living from doing so. Singling out an individual and demanding his ban is even more disturbing given the absence of any connection between the allegations and his content on Rumble. We don't agree with the behavior of many Rumble creators, but we refuse to penalize them for actions that have nothing to do with our platform. Although it may be political and socially easier for Rumble to join a cancel culture mob, doing so, I love how they called it a cancel culture mob right there. Doing so would be a violation of our company's values and mission. We empathetically reject the UK Parliament's demands.
Absolutely fantastic response. And is it over 100,000 likes now on that tweet? Yeah, 100,000 likes on that tweet that they have right there. Yeah, so that's fantastic. Tons of traction that has been put on that. And yeah, man, I really love what Rumble is doing. We obviously have done really well on Rumble. And it's been a great, it still feels like at this point in time, Rumble is still just an alternative to YouTube. But I feel like that's only over time that will change. But you can't help but to appreciate this, man. This is fantastic. And, I don't think that Rumble needs to be the only game in town. I think that they just need to be like, competition is good. We need competition. We need different platforms. We need Kick. We need Rumble. And obviously, YouTube is the Pied Piper. YouTube is the one that is still the biggest by far, and it's not even close. And it's probably going to continue to be that way. I don't see a scenario where Rumble could take down YouTube, and I don't think that that's even a scenario that's we should want. We should just want good competition within the marketplace and let people have options. And I always go back to this. I don't even know if Jed knows anything about it. I know Beardo doesn't, but a lot of the chat will. The Monday Night Wars with professional wrestling. And the best thing ever for wrestling was when the two biggest companies were competing against each other, because we, the fans, had the best of both worlds. They were giving us their best, because this wasn't a Madden situation where Madden, every time Madden comes out, they have no competition. They just shit out a new Madden with no real updates or anything like that, because they're the only video game developer that has the NFL license. And so they literally just shit out this a terrible game every year because they have no competition. Competition is crucial.
And especially with someone like Russell Brand, I just looked it up. He's almost at nearly 7 million subscribers on YouTube. This could be something that Rumble needed. Obviously, people listen to Russell Brand. I'm just going to see how many views he gets on his live streams. 120,000 views 5 days ago, 110,000 views 6 days ago, 170 a week ago. This dude is obviously pulling massive numbers as far as his, like, he's got one that's nearly got 300,000 views 3 weeks ago. So for Rumble, they got guys like Sneeko, obviously, who have solely moved over to Rumble. Guys like, I know Drew Hernandez was doing some stuff on Rumble. Is Rekieta fully on Rumble now too?
He's not fully on Rumble, but he does have he has a deal with them. He does like partially on YouTube, and then he moves over to Rumble. Quartering's doing a lot of stuff with Rumble.
I think someone like Russell Brand and his audience, this is kind of, not only is it Rumble good competition for YouTube as far as these, creators and, putting your content on different platforms and stuff. I think that if Russell Brand chooses to continue to upload to Rumble throughout all this and just continue his podcast, well, obviously, while he's going through these allegations, I think this could be massive for Rumble as far as if Russell Brand's audience is faithful to him and faithful to listening to that. They weren't just listening to him because he was on YouTube, but if they make the jump to Rumble, that could be huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just the power was within the people at this point in time, and yeah, I just want to see more people again. Just create a Rumble account just so you can go over there, back up your account over there with your content. And yeah, man, they deserve all the credit in the world for this. Jed, any thoughts on this?
Well, I think one of the scariest things about this that a lot of people aren't talking about is, yes, this is a different country than the United States. They don't have as many protections for free speech. So with that in mind, the UK is within a at least reasonable legal justification for asking for a UK ban of Russell Brand. But that's not what they're doing, it sounds like. They're not saying, hey, content lock his content based on geography. Don't just like take him out of
Off
the UK.
Of the region. Yeah.
Exactly. Region lock him. That is something that they are relatively justified to do, but that's not what they're doing. They're asking for a complete ban of him, it sounds like, or a complete demonetization of him, which is saying that the UK is trying to affect the world when it comes to their content. They're trying to censor the world, and that bothers me a lot. As much as I defend the UK in a lot of situations, I love the UK's culture, at least at what it used to be. This is just a frightening thing of a single country trying to affect the censorship policies of the entire planet. I don't think anyone should have that control, even the United States. But yeah, this is just a very scary situation because we're just seeing evidence of what we've known for a long time. We've all known stuff like this has happened with the other things like Andrew Tate, as you always talk about, Jeremy, a lot of these other mass deplatformings that go on. We know that the government has been leaning on people, whether it be the UK or the United States, but it is very nice for Rumble to come out like this and give us the proof that we've all known is always there. So I think this is actually a win for more than just Rumble. I think this is a win for all of us because we have proof that we can throw in their faces the next time this
it's
happens.
eye-opening. It's eye-opening for sure. And like we said the other night on the main event, whether these allegations are true or not, let's say that they are not true, what their logic is and what they're doing is a complete assassination of character. Because once your name is associated to this, once your name is a link to it, whether you're innocent or not, you are going to forever have this black cloud over your image that you really cannot shake, because that's just how the internet works nowadays. Like once that's out there, people might not be caught up on the current news, people might not care about it, but they heard, oh, Russell Brand is being accused of this, Russell Brand's not a good guy, Russell Brand's a bad guy, let's ban him and take him off of all platforms, where we have several convicted felons who still have their channel, they still have their Twitter, they still have their Facebook, but Russell Brand, the punishment does not necessarily fit the crime in this situation.
Yep, the whole thing is wild, but hey, I'm glad Rumble is standing against it. It's a beautiful thing, so good on them, man. Shout out to Rumble and them just sticking by their values. That's great to see. Let's see here. Gremlin just dropped a 50. Says, I always say if you get a Google content tag when speaking on a subject, you hit a truth nerve. Russ has a lot of them on his channel. Absolutely. And again, this all comes back to the mainstream media, man. Mainstream media, that they know that they're not relevant anymore, and they can't stand that there's so many people out here just creating their own audience, having their own opinions, and they're going against the mainstream because the mainstream wants to put out that narrative that's driving them crazy.
And this is right in line. This is telltale. This is their track record of doing stuff like this. They did it to the sitting president of the United States when they took him off of everything. And also a few years ago when they were rolling out a very specific medical procedure that they were trying to force on everybody because of the coof, all of a sudden, all these doctors who were giving their 2 cents and their opinion on their YouTube channels and on their social media, they were getting taken down, banned, channels wiped because their opinion didn't match the mainstream opinion that they were trying to influence and put on everybody else.
It's wild.
So it's in their track record.
Yeah, it is. Summer Soldier for 20 says, have to join and throw something towards the conversation therapy. You and Ryan have been way too comfortable lately.
Whoa.
We haven't been arguing a lot, I guess. We need to argue some more. Hey, sometimes we argue, sometimes we get along. That's just the way the internet goes. So I'm sure me and him will find something to fight about very soon. Don't worry, everybody. Coley says Titanfall of the year wins every year. Hey,
I think it's got a good debate to make comeback game of the year, I guess.
yeah. I mean, is that typically like something that they do?
It is for the Geeks and Gamers Game Awards.
Yeah.
Hey, there we go. Comeback game of the year. So that makes like something like Cyberpunk could have been up for that, or No Man's Sky. Yep. Like comeback game of the year, a game that kind of. And with Titanfall, it's not a problem of it releasing broken. It's just that it just went away, and then it became broken years after it released, and now it's back. But like something like No Man's Sky, that obviously was a disastrous release, and then suddenly they got the game to a point where it's one of the best games on the market. So a game of the year, return game of the year, or that's
comeback
something to do.
Comeback
of the year. Yeah. Comeback game of the year, something like that. We could definitely work that in. So
Hell
would be awesome. That would be awesome. Let's see, where are we at? Hail the Long Way Cast.
Hoorah!
The Long Way Cast. Is that what we're gonna call this now?
Anything Beardo's on would be called that.
No, Rudai's not here. Rudai's not here.
Our Orange-Gigantan TDs must be banned. The fact that Krista Nova, of all people, has made Orange-Gigantan TDs a thing now is really weird. Did you see the ones I showed last night on Cobra Cast?
I have not.
Bro.
I'm not sure if I want to.
Don't yet. No, you don't want to see it.
I'm not sure if I want to.
No,
let's just say that one had above average nipples. Okay,
so. Let's just say that's a gore lock after it doesn't shaving.
Oh, Beardo, go ahead and read us the rest of these super chats, and then we'll talk about our next story.
Yeah, so let's go for a 20. Christian Stone Roseo says, "Hey fellas, please help me out and tell me where to find the stream a while back when Ryan's camera froze and made the most memeable face ever. Everyone was dying laughing. All-time G&G moment. Thanks, Duval. Go Jaguars 199." I think you got to be a little bit more specific.
No,
that happens a lot.
I know what he's talking about. Let me see if I can find it. I'll drop it in the chat if I can find it.
Coalee for $10. To Jed's point, I think the perfect motto for current day is, "Oh, I love insert country's culture, but the government is ruined."
Oh, 100%. Especially with the UK. A lot of the things I love come from classic BBC, and the BBC is part of the government, and they ruined Doctor Who, for example. So, yeah, and just to clarify, I saw a lot of people having issue with my comment there. That's what I meant by culture, is stuff like Doctor Who, or back in the day, the Sherlock Holmes books and Tolkien, stuff like that. There's a lot of good culturally, pop culture-wise and whatnot that came out of the UK that I love, and I wish could be, continued, could be protected, but the government's not going to.
You know what else came out of the United Kingdom that's awesome and really good?
What's
Haley Atwell.
That's true. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
So if you YouTube search greatest meme of all time, Geeks and Gamers, it should be one of the top results. It is Pixelated Ryan. That's the meme you're talking about, which is definitely one of the more legendary memes. That shit I was crying when that happened. It was so damn funny. That was absolutely awesome. Pixelated Ryan. That was goated.
Joe C. Pureblood for $5. "Hey guys, for your end of the year awards, I nominate MCU fan for Krista's Sympathy of the Year."
A simple award would be pretty good.
A simple award would be a good one.
That would be good. That would be good.
Blake Barrett for $2. "Grace for well of the year." Tobias Nexus for $5. "Halo has two good movies, Forward Until Dawn and Nightfall."
I've only seen, I think it was Forward Until Dawn I didn't see Nightfall, so I'll have to check that out.
Jay Saggy or Orangutan Titties for another $199 says, "Krista did this. It's not my fault."
Oh man. All right, look. So check
Yep.
this out, everybody, real quick. Let me hide that real quick. I just want to share my screen. So again, I haven't fully rolled this out yet, okay? But we're in the early stages of it. But I wanted to tell a few people. So to help get us, so as I told you guys, this is geeksgamers.com, our website. And as I told you guys, I've had some meetings with sponsors, and a lot of money was potentially on the table, but it was kind of let it known that we probably have to be a little less controversial if the type of money that was being discussed was going to be offered. I decided that I wasn't interested in that. So I think the people is who I want to work for. So we're working on getting, so that if you go to the website, you go to support us, you click on support us. Still got to work out the kinks here, but you can direct donate now on the website through Stripe or PayPal. You can donate as much as you want. I don't even think the funded meter is working yet. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to run that yet. But, if you guys are interested, feel free to go over there and direct donate to us so we can continue to build this up, because Geeks Gamers, we work for the people. We work for the people, not sponsors, and we're not going to sit there and bullshit around. And again, it was a lot of money on the line too. But yeah, the moment you start telling me that we're too controversial, it's obvious to me that that's just, we're not going to work. And I think that was my first time ever seeing like that moment of like, whoa, this is how people shift right here when they have a big offer. This is how people shift. And yeah, wow. But anyway, you guys, let me know what options work for you best. Pixelated Ryan, let's go. Thanks, Jeremy. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Desirius for $5. YouTube has wanted to do this to brand for a while now. They just needed something as an excuse to do it. Looks that way. CJR for $5. I'm British and I am disgusted by our government. It's a clear overreach for someone that has not yet been found guilty in the court of law. MCU fan for $2. Look at MCU fan donating over here. I thought you hated us. Oh, well, clearly he does, because they said bigots. Krista looked hot with bangs, though, not going to lie.
Jesus.
MCU fan broke character.
Uh-oh. He's admitting his true colors.
MCU fan broke character.
Chikara for a 50 from a different country. Says, we need Steph to put together a G&G awards with the team. Biggest fight of the year, most mispronounced word, the best rant, the most J being J, and etc.
Ooh, that would be good.
That is good. That would be good. Chat's going crazy.
Yep, look at that. And the biggest simp award goes to Praise be Ara for $2. Orangutan the long way. Dermy Wormy for $2 says back taco.
No, Dermy.
Hey,
no.
You keep your fantasies to yourself, okay? Don't bring that over here. Don't bring that energy over here. Taker for $5. When Sabine came across those crab freaks, I immediately thought crab people. Also, I thought it was watching The Chosen when she found Ezra.
Yeah, I have not.
I don't think any of us know what you're talking about.
I haven't watched Ahsoka. I'm not going to. But listen, I genuinely like. I've said this a few times. And again, just monitoring things from afar, I feel like the discussion about Ahsoka feels more like a genuine Star Wars fan discussion, less than a sequel fan Star Wars discussion. Because when people are like, what do you hear? What was the standard response from sequel trilogy fans when you didn't like their movie? Oh, you're just racist. You're racist and you're sexist. Yeah. You're racist
from the other
and you're
side,
sexist. Yeah. You're racist and you're sexist if you don't like this. Mm-hmm. With Ahsoka, it's like, well, have you watched Rebels and Clone Wars? And so like that's at least again, I remember the prequels discussion and all of that. So some people are liking Ahsoka. A lot of people are still hating Ahsoka, and that's fine. That's kind of how the prequels were. But yeah, I mean, as somebody that watched Rebels and Clone Wars and loved Clone Wars and liked Rebels had a lot more filler than Clone Wars did. And Clone Wars had some filler as well. But I could see why a lot of what they're doing with Ahsoka is working for some people. But at the same time, it's it's probably I don't think it's honestly I don't think it's a good show if I watch. I don't believe it would be a good show if I watched it. I think I would enjoy a lot of the nostalgia with Clone Wars and Rebels that are intertwined in it. But hey,
From what I've seen from Ahsoka, I did pull up and watch the Anakin bits from the last episode, and I did watch the lightsaber dueling between Anakin and Ahsoka.
mhm.
And while
Anakin's
Rosaria,
awesome.
Anakin's awesome, and Hayden Christensen looked good. He looked good,
Yeah.
like he hadn't skipped a beat from playing
Yep.
Anakin. It was
Mhm.
he nailed it out of the park.
Yep. Mhm.
While Rosario Dawson aesthetically passes as Ahsoka, she is severely unathletic and doesn't fight convincingly. She isn't athletic. Like Hayden Christensen was just a freaking athlete. In between Ewan McGregor being a natural, swordsman, like he has experience in fighting with swords, and Hayden Christensen just being an athletic individual. Like those lightsaber duels in the prequels were fucking awesome. Even throw in Liam Neeson and obviously Ray Park, like these guys just like they nailed it. It was convincing. Rosario Dawson, she's not athletic. It's like Hayden Christensen. It's like dancing with someone and you know all the moves, you know all the the whole entire dance, and you're trying to dance with someone and they know nothing about it. It's like you're carrying them. And that's
Mhm.
what it felt like. It felt like Hayden Christensen was carrying Ahsoka in the fight, and I don't know if going forward, if there's going to be a season 2, maybe they need to hire a stunt actress for Rosario Dawson, and they'll do like the face cover up in post and stuff, and then put Rosario Dawson's face on the stunt actress. But she is not a good sword fighter at all. So maybe they should have maybe looked at hiring someone who had experience with fighting with swords, who is athletic. Yeah, she looks the part, but when she pulls the lightsabers out and she's trying to look convincing as far as being athletic with fighting with lightsabers, it's painful to watch.
I don't even think that's the biggest issue with that sequence because a lot like Jeremy, Clone Wars is one of my favorite Star Wars things. Ahsoka is also my favorite Star Wars character. But when I saw those scenes, I just couldn't get out of the headspace of a writer, as Beardo and I have talked about a lot in my writing technique and stuff. They're just really basic. It's like, what are you here for? Oh, don't die. Choose not to die. Oh my god. And the delivery, it made the prequels, the cringiest prequel lines, seem like Shakespeare to me, just with
Yeah.
what they were making Hayden Christensen say. And then to your point about the choreography, the way that she disarmed him was, I think, is just as bad as all the stuff in like what was it, The Last Jedi, where the blade disappeared for part of the sequence. I think it was atrocious, that entire sequence, from a writing standpoint, from an editing standpoint. The composition of those clouds, everyone's talking about, oh, he's framed in the clouds, it's so cool. The composition of those clouds is so bad. I feel like that's early Premiere Pro days.
Yeah, and so like I guess what I'm happy about that it's a discussion about it's just genuinely not good or genuinely good and not like is it woke? And that's a question I have. I mean, is it? I mean, I know it's got a lot of female centric bullshit.
I think
in
there's a few
So-
boss bitch moments, right?
Yeah, I mean that's what I hear, but it doesn't sound like it's as bad as like Last Jedi or some crap like that. But it definitely probably has more woke elements than something like obviously the prequels. Prequels has no woke elements of it. So, but anyway, I haven't seen it. I just don't want to watch it because number one, I don't think it's going to do justice to Ahsoka the character. I don't think Ahsoka should be alive. I don't think they should be focusing on Ahsoka at this point in time. I don't think she should be the focal point of the Star Wars universe. I just reject Disney Star Wars as a whole right now, and I know where they're going, and I don't care to watch it. I don't care to be invested in it. I don't care to have the discussions. I don't care because they've pushed me to that point as a fan, and that's kind of just that's where we are with it. So, but if you're enjoying it, great. If you're hating it, great. But at the end of the day, it seems more like a genuine fan discussion than anything surrounding the sequel trilogy. I'll say that much.
Yeah. And we're never really going to get mad at someone for liking something, even if it's bad. Like we talk shit all the time. Like I find enjoyment in Batman v Superman, and you sit here and just fucking tell me, nah, it sucks, but you're not condemning me and saying, "No, you're wrong. You're not allowed to enjoy it." Like,
Oh,
whatever.
fuck you. You're wrong. Fucking dog shit. No, I'm kidding.
There aren't personal attacks. The last time I was on Daily, I got a lot of flack for this, for the few seconds that I was, because everyone does it, though. I just do it to more extreme. Everyone separates the objective opinion of a movie from the subjective, even if it's in little ways. So all of us like bad movies, but most of us can recognize whether or not they're bad movies. The example that you always bring up, Jeremy, is X-Men Origins Wolverine. We all have examples like that where we're like, yeah, that's not
I like
great.
X-Men Origins. I like it. I know that it's not good, but I actually like it.
Everyone has examples of that, and I just do it with the Goonies, so I do it in a different angle than a lot of other people do it, but everyone does it. And as long as you're doing it from that perspective, contradicting people's takes and not doing personal attacks, there's no reason to get offended or be upset at someone for having a different opinion than you. And I think that's why this sphere of the internet is so beautiful, because we can fight all day long, but we're never doing personal attacks like these people. We don't go straight to, oh, you're an isterophobe for disagreeing with me. You might be really dumb in this moment, but a lot of us can still separate those, and that's what makes it okay.
Yeah, I've been around, Star Wars fandom, Star Wars discussion, all that for a long time. And that, like, I can't tell you how the heated discussions around the prequels, and I'm sure a lot of you remember this, obviously, but like the heated discussions around the prequels, it was crazy. I mean, it was fucking insane how divisive it was with the prequels and the hate that the prequels got. And of course, I was always defending the prequels and always defending George. I can acknowledge that there's problems in the prequels, but I was still always defending the prequels, and I will still always defend the prequels because I love the fucking prequels. And but the conversation when it became the sequel trilogy, the conversations changed from bad movie, good movie to you're racist if you don't like it. You're sexist if you don't like it. And that to me was like, this isn't Star Wars. This isn't fandom. This is not people that are genuinely this isn't passionate fan discussions anymore. This is social justice freaks. And it was being pushed by Lucasfilm. That's the whole problem with it. I've said 1,000 times, I could deal with a bad movie. I went through the motions with The Last Jedi, trying to figure out where I stood on it. I ultimately ended up where I ended up. But it was what pushed me to the anger part was Lucasfilm blaming the fans for the bad movie. And I don't feel that I feel that with Ahsoka, at least from afar, and maybe it's because I'm not watching it, so I'm not totally intertwined in it. I feel like the discussion feels closer to prequel divisiveness than the sequel trilogy, you're racist, sexist nonsense. So I don't know. That's just my observation on it.
Their whole argument about, oh, you're sexist if you don't like the sequel trilogy. Well, but how funny they forget that with Mandalorian, we all love Gina. We all love Cara Dune. We're a huge fan of that. And what they do, they go and get rid of her.
Yeah, exactly.
But we were huge fans. We weren't sexist then when we liked Cara Dune, when everybody was getting Cara Dune action figures and merch and hot toys and shit. And we love the character. And this is before she was like kind of really in our sphere. We just enjoyed what she was doing. Like we were fans of Gina Carano, whether it was because of, her fighting days or American Gladiator or other stuff that she's done. We're like, this is a badass chick in this, and I like her. While on the same side, they're like, oh, but you are still sexist because you don't like the sequels, but it doesn't matter that you're a fan of Gina. We're going to get rid of her.
Yep. And we do love Gina Carano, 100% on
100%.
That one. Dom H dropped a 50.
50!
Thank you, sir. Look at Dom H.
Shout out to Dom H.
Says nothing.
Nothing. Dom H did, I streamed yesterday, and Dom H came in there, dropped a 50, and said, I'm a man of my word. I said on Mario Kart, if you got a gold crown, I'd drop a 50. Here it is. Respect to Dom H, man. Go Giants.
Clemson PC in the house. Appreciate you guys. Keep on killing it. What's up, Clemson PC? Good to see you here on Geeks and Gamers Daily. Thank you, brother. Let's see. SBZ says, watch Jeremy. We'll do what Game Awards did with Last of Us 2, RPG of the Year, Titanfall 2, Fighting Game of the Year, Titanfall 2, Racing Game of the Year, Titanfall 2, Nolan Game of the Year, Titanfall 2. Oh, man. That's good stuff right there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I do love the idea. So what I want the idea to be with our year end awards is, like I said, we could have it to where we have our picks, like staff picks, then we
Mm-hmm.
have the viewers, the fans of G&G 199 have it where they can vote, and it's like a collective thing. But we could make it pretty damn interesting. We could.
Yeah.
So
We don't
I
even really
dig it.
need
I
to
dig it.
look at the actual game awards and who's winning the game awards. Fuck them. Let's
Yeah.
just nominate our own nominees, our own categories, and pick our own winners and just fucking ignore the game awards.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Maybe we can get to a point where it becomes our own little thing where we have an event, you know. Who
Yeah.
knows, man? Who knows? All right, we
Mm.
got to talk about Leslie Jones really quick. Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones. God. Leslie Jones, after all this time, is still blaming. And again, this kind of goes back to what did I say, man? Oh, this is what the sequel trilogy, this is what pushed me off of so much of Star Wars.
Mhm.
All these years later, Leslie Jones is still crying about racist Ghostbusters trolls that nearly broke her.
Mm.
Leslie Jones is one of the most vile and rude individuals that you'll ever see on social media.
And
She says,
repulsive.
so yes, she says horrible things about the fans. She says disgusting things about people. She hates you if you voted for Trump. And again, you don't have to vote for Trump. You can vote for whoever you want, or you don't have to vote at all. I don't give a shit. I mean,
Mm.
obviously I care, but I'm saying, like, generally just on a human level, like, I'm not going to just hate you if you don't vote, or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, she hates your guts. She despises you. And now she's playing the victim with all of the inflammatory things that she has said about fans, about people that have a different opinion of her. And now suddenly, because you made a bad movie and people didn't like it, you're blaming that. You know what? How about I'm gonna mention a name, okay? I'll mention a name. There's a name. There's a guy. There's a guy. His name's Ryan Reynolds. Wasn't Ryan Reynolds in X-Men Origins Wolverine?
Yeah.
Didn't Deadpool in X-Men Origins Wolverine get more criticism than almost any character we've ever seen? Yes, because it was literally not Deadpool in any way, shape, or form. It didn't
Yep.
represent anything that people that know and love Deadpool wanted to see. Now, Ryan Reynolds, I don't think Ryan Reynolds per se got the backlash, but he was part of it because he was the character. He
Mhm.
played the character. Now, he could have played the fake victim and said, "Oh, I got all this hate because they hated the character." No, like, Ryan Reynolds knew why the backlash was there. He recognized it. And clearly, now here we are where Ryan Reynolds has got the proper Deadpool and everybody
Yeah.
loves it.
And the thing is about that, though, that was a passion project of his. He was the one that was pushing that. And remember, that whole thing leaked. Remember that CGI Deadpool trailer or whatever that came out that he voiced, that he leaked, and it was never supposed to happen. Studios weren't picking it up, but it was a passion project of his because he has loved the character for so many damn years. I mean, in the comics, like, they refer, but before he was even casted as the role in X-Men Origins, he, in the comics, was referred to that Deadpool looks like an undead Ryan Reynolds. So, like, he's been attached to this for a long time. He clearly cares about the character to the point where, yeah, what did the first time around go around suck? Was it terrible? Was it not good? Was it an abomination, assassination of character, just Deadpool in name? Absolutely. But did he sit there and cry and point the fingers at the fans and say, "Well, you didn't like my version of it, so you're a hater"? No, he fixed it. He put his own time and money into it. It was a passion project of his. Spent several years trying to get a studio to pick it up, and guess what? They picked it up, and the second movie might not have been as good as the first movie. That's subject to opinion, but both movies did really well, and we're getting a third one now too. So it's two sides of the coin. You see how that was a good example, Jeremy, of Ryan Reynolds. You see what Ryan Reynolds did when somebody didn't like his take in a movie or his portrayal in a movie. What did he do? He took it on the chin, put his own time and effort into making it better, and he didn't point the finger.
And now look at where he's at with that character,
Yep, exactly.
And Leslie Jones is just another example of a fake Hollywood victim. And she's just a horrible person. And again, I go back to this. I talk about this a lot. in my years of being a fan of watching all of this play out, and I've been a fan from the start since because I read comics when I was younger. I've always been into nerd shit. Obviously, we saw like X-Men, we saw the first Spider-Man. That's really where a lot of these the superhero kind of age started then. And through all of that, there are two castings that have gotten more hate than any other casting, and there's one that's clearly the number one, and it's Ben Affleck as Batman. When he was announced, it got
More than Heath Ledger
hate.
as Joker?
Yes, that was the second one. But because Ben Affleck's a bigger star and a bigger name, the hatred for Affleck's Batman when he was announced was the biggest, most vile hate I have ever seen for a casting of a superhero.
Yeah.
And is it because he was a straight white male? Is that why it happened?
I think it was because of the poor reception of Daredevil.
I think it was a combination of Batman was riding at an all-time high with movies, video games, and comics. He was the most popular character on the planet in all mediums. Ben Affleck was way too famous, and the thing with Daredevil, and it just wasn't what people wanted. But ultimately, I mean, again, regardless of my opinion casting of it, he overcame all of that, and now everybody loved him as Batman.
Yep.
And then Heath Ledger's Joker is obviously the other one that everybody's going to point to. And of course, we all know he put in one of the great performances of all time. Hugh Jackman got a lot of backlash back in the day when he was cast as Wolverine. A lot of people probably don't remember that, but Hugh Jackman got a shit ton of backlash. Tall.
Yeah, yes. Mainly because of his height.
Yes, that happened. And because this is what happens in these properties where passionate fans happen. So, or passionate fans are following it. So with Leslie Jones and Ghostbusters, people are passionate about Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters is a beloved movies.
It's a cult classic.
The first two are so beloved. And you guys basically disrespected the fan base. You disrespected the lore. You disrespected everything. And the fact that she's still crying about it all of these years later in 2023, oh my goodness, what a terrible human being. She gets what she deserves in terms of criticism because you have actively gone after the fans over and over and over again. And, you know, she's just a terrible person. So there's that. Anything you want to add? Go ahead.
My favorite part of all this with her complaining and whatnot is she adds in that she made significantly less money than Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig, which is laughable because at the time, both of those actresses were relatively large stars. I'd say 2016 was the biggest year.
Kristen Wiig, she was big. Yeah.
Absolutely, both of them. After Bridesmaids, both of those had a pretty good career going out of that. But Leslie Jones, how many people knew who the hell she was before Ghostbusters?
She was the loud chick on SNL. Is all she was. She was the loud one.
Mm-hmm. And how many SNL stars have been big box office pulls?
Adam Sandler.
Few. Yeah, very few, especially in recent years. Recent years, very few. So that's the thing is these people, I think it might have a little bit to do with the whole participation trophy award generation, stuff like that, maybe a little bit of socialism, but they're always wanting, hey, I don't get exactly what this other person does, and therefore it's racist, sexist, and whatnot. But it should be talent reward and marketability equals reward. No one was going to the movie to see Leslie Jones. I do believe, as sad as it sounds, some people were going to see the movie because of Melissa McCarthy, because of Kristen Wiig, but nobody was going for her.
Mostly because it was Ghostbusters.
Mostly because of Ghostbusters, absolutely. But she's just nowhere near as valuable to the studios. And that's the same thing with the writer strike going on. A lot of these people complaining about their She-Hulk residuals, they're not very valuable to the studio, so why should the studio pay them more? Or the situation with supposedly Tatiana Maslany versus the actor from One Piece, it's about how much you're valuable to the studio. And that's just something that they're not going to accept because they want their participation trophy. They want everything to be the same. They want to be better than everybody else based on little to no effort.
And it's funny you brought up Bridesmaids because Bridesmaids is, kind of widely accepted as being a good, funny movie, almost kind of like The Hangover, but with a female cast. Like, that's kind of like what it is. And Bridesmaids is actually good. And, people aren't complaining about Bridesmaids because it's good. People aren't being called sexist and bigots and racist because of Bridesmaids. No, because it was a good movie.
Yep, 100%. And, yeah, I mean, like, the criticism's always going to come with this stuff. And, if you want to go out there and you want to actively attack the fans, attack people, then yes, you deserve the criticism that's coming your way. Obviously, nobody's going to support people doxing or sending all of this horrible stuff to somebody within reason, but that's the minority of stuff that's happening. Valid criticism is definitely deserved when you are trashing the fans, because you gave them a film that they didn't like. You gave them a portrayal they didn't like. Fans have the right to share that criticism. But on what we do these days, a lot of these fake victims in Hollywood, is they define fans off of the actions of a few people, a few extremist people saying, terrible things. I'm not playing that game. We're talking about valid criticism here, and valid criticism is perfectly fine. And if you can't take valid criticism, you probably shouldn't be in the fucking movie business. It's just what you shouldn't be. But you want to take 99%, or let's say there's 100 comments of saying, hey, you did dog shit. This is terrible. I don't like this movie. And then there might be 2 comments where somebody said something terrible. And you go, oh, they're all being a racist. It's like, no, there's 2 people probably being racist. It doesn't mean that. So you're defining everybody off of the actions of 2 people. No, that's not how the world works. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that's the latest on Leslie Jones continuing to whine about 2016 Ghostbusters backlash still, because she attacked the fans. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And how they made Chris Hemsworth. He was the dumb white guy.
Oh, God.
He was the stupid,
I didn't see the
idiot,
movie,
dumb white guy.
Oh, you'll love this, Jeremy.
It's
but,
such a trope.
It came out the same time as Batman v Superman, right? The same year, and it also got an extended director's cut that everyone was telling me was better than the original, just like BVS. And I watched the extended cut. There's like a 10-minute dance sequence with Chris Hemsworth in the extended edition with a bunch of mind-controlled people. It is so bad. I feel like it's the same thing. It's more bad. It's just more of the same crap, just like BVS. Yeah, don't watch the ultimate cut of Ghostbusters 2016.
But do watch the ultimate cut of BVS because it's good.
No, it's not. It's fucking terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible fucking movie.
I like it.
I don't give a damn.
I like
said it's good. You said it's good. You didn't say you liked it. You said it's good.
It's good.
It is
Batman
vs Superman.
The ultimate edition
good.
of BVS is good.
No, it's not. It's terrible.
Yes, it is.
It's terrible.
It's good.
I see MCU fans back in the chat. MCU fan, you want to explain your comment from earlier?
Yeah, MCU fan. Did you have a stroke or something?
Yeah, you said, like right here, MCU fan. Bigots. Krista looks hot with bangs, though, not going to lie. You explain that, MCU fan?
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Are you being held hostage somewhere? Are you okay? Jeez. A mentee for $10. I need a super chat just so you guys can stop pronouncing orangutan that way. It's like nails on a chalkboard. O-rang-tan. So, orangutan, right? Hayden for a 10 says send the winners of the G&G Awards an official letter on a nice paper congratulating them on winning. Make ourselves official in the small ways.
Hell yeah.
I want to be the one who mails out the cringiest actor award or something like that. Lunatic of the year.
Gremlin for $10. Sorry, no, it's a CobraCast topic, but Hunter Biden just got denied his appeal for a virtual showing on the court that he's a flight risk.
I saw that. Fucking Hunter Biden's garbage ass.
Jay's gaping butthole for $2. Swap Jed for a black chick, please.
How do you know I'm not? This is just a fancy avatar. Because everyone was being so racist against me as my true self. I had to craft this avatar as a beautiful white man just to have people take me seriously. So I can turn it off if the chat wants, if the gaping butthole wants to see my 12-year-old black girl.
Yeah. You're just not open-minded. You clearly
exactly.
don't understand that Jed can identify as whatever he wants, and you're supposed to accept it. Taylor Swift's greater than Disney Star Wars for $1 and says nothing. It might have been a super sticker. I'm not sure. And why did my camera just go so foggy? All right. Buck's Basement for a $5. In season 2 of One Piece, In Season 2, One Piece has a character coming called Chopper, who's potentially the next Baby Yoda in terms of merch. Would you prefer a puppet or CGI for Chopper?
Puppet, but it'll probably be CGI.
I would like to see a puppet with some CGI little work-ins,
Yeah, it needs to be
It needs to be
mix.
somewhat practical. Somewhat practical with CGI mix into it.
Well, that's why Lord of the Rings is held up as one of the greatest trilogies visually as well as anything else, because it has a beautiful mix of practical and CGI. And I think that's where every movie should be, every TV show should be, a mix to the logical extent. And Disney Star Wars definitely needed that. With the Baby Yoda flipping, with it still being a puppet over that one Mandalorian kid, that is just so cringe. It's got to be a mix.
Yep.
Ryan Tyler for $5, a man of integrity. Why I love you, Jeremy, and Geeks and Gamers. I'll give more on the website so YouTube doesn't take it all.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
Shout out. Thank you for the support. Sandstorm for $2.
And I know there was a lot of people that were like questioning PayPal. Look, what have I always said? I'm just giving you options. All right, that's all I'm doing is giving you options. There's another one that me and Ripper were talking about, another payment processor that I'd like to put on there as well. But yeah, it's just giving you guys options. That's all I want to do.
Sandstorm for $2. Scanning in. I nominate Awesome Guy for the 199. Yeah, we need to definitely find a way to see what category Awesome Guy can be nominated in.
Are you going as Awesome Guy for Halloween next month?
I'm actually. I think I have an idea of what I'm going to be for Halloween. If we throw a G&G Halloween party, I have a few ideas. I think I've settled on an actual idea, but I'm not going to announce it just yet. Objectively a Cat for $5. Beardo and a Rude Eye eating corn the long way stream when? It's going to cost you a lot more than $5. Culver's is the GOAT. Mr. Krista is adorable. Titanfall 2 is the peak FPS experience. 2 out of those 4 things you said is correct. Thank you, Objectively a Cat.
Culver's is the GOAT.
Roland New for a 199. Should have brought Nick Gillard back for Star Wars. It's simple. Thank you. Charles Ratcliffe for $5. Love Gina 199. We do too. Alex Wag for a 250 says nothing.
Nothing.
Stephen Wasick for a 499. The real MCU fan is here now. He was MIA during Fortnite last week, but will make up for that now. Assume the position, you simpering simp.
Simpering simp?
Yeah, you simpering simp. Desirius for a $2. Will you incorporate fan votes for the G&G Game Awards?
Yes, 100%. 100%. But again, it's got to be understood that it's going to take like to get the site to where we want it to be. I want to rebuild it. It's going to take infrastructure, money, and all of that. So that's why I'm, want the people to support instead of me doing it through, fucking sponsors and all that bullshit.
Yeah. East Coast Toasty Boy for $2. So she's the Black Hillary. Get over it, Leslie. Jay's saggy orangutan titties for $5. Had to change my fantasy football team name. It was Half Chub, but now it's Limp Chub. Rest in peace. Hail all, and looking forward to the G&G Game Awards.
Hell yeah.
Taker for $5. Beardo. You guys ever saw that Crab People episode of South Park? Sabine meets giant hermit crabs in Ahsoka. Ezra looks like Jesus, hence the reference. I was never a big South Park guy. Like, I watched a few of the movies. I never really got into the show. I was more of a Family Guy kind of person. But thank you for the donation. Mark of Reality for $5. If you replace Jed with a black girl, please make sure it's a hot black girl. Well, of course. I mean, obviously.
Upgrades, people. Upgrades.
Obviously. Doll Life Dan for a $5. My favorite Ahsoka moment was when Anakin said, "Stand back, Ahsoka. I'm about to Vader." It gave me chills.
Then
Is that a real line? That's satire, right?
Yeah, I think it's a Morbin reference.
Okay.
Like the Morbius deal. I'm about to Morb
Oh
all
yeah.
over you.
It's Morbin time.
The people are hyped about the G&G Game Awards. Holy shit.
We gotta make it happen.
I've
man.
already been getting ideas. Like we need those like Dead Celebrity Award video or those videos, the compilations. You got to do one for all the ones that Josiah said left Hollywood.
Yes, yes. And we need to look good. We need to dress nice. We need to make it official. We need to be wearing suits and ties. Everything's going to be good.
And their sponsor cuts that they do, and you got to be like, Doug B sponsors this section or stuff like that. You can donate on the website requesting to sponsor a whole section or something like that.
Hell yeah. I dig it.
We got to do a drunken chatter award too.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
SBZ for $5. To people who still don't know who Jed is, he is Ryan Kennel's good, tolerant, and well-behaved twin brother with a fedora. I can see it.
I've gotten that since day one of G&G is that I look like Ryan, and I still don't get it.
Fraternal twins, though. Fraternal twins. Tobias Nexus for $2. I can't wait for Carrot to show up in One Piece.
Man, I watched the first episode of live action One Piece again last night with my family. God, man, it's so fucking good, dude. It's so good. I love it so much.
Anakmamon for $5. Beardo and Arudai should eat the same corn the long way and meat in the middle, like Lady and the Tramp with spaghetti. It ought to make that ought to make them both happy. Thank you for the $5, Anakmamon. And then we do have some member message. Actually, we got another 10 from Anakmamon. I can't prove this, but I would say that 9 out of 10 times the best superhero castings tend to be the most controversial. I.e., every Batman casting except for George Clooney got flack, but he was one that sucked.
I don't really remember Christian Bale getting a lot of flack because he was such an unknown for most people, but like Batman was just in a weird spot at that time, you know what I mean? Because that was after Batman and Robin, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I personally do not remember Bale getting a lot of backlash.
From what I remember, maybe I was a little too young, but Batman Begins, it was kind of sneaky. Like nobody was really like anticipating it. Nobody was like, it didn't really have a lot of hype behind it. It was like a movie that was being made. Maybe that was just my perception of it. Maybe it was different for you guys. But to me, it was like a little sneaky kind of, oh, this is actually good.
Yeah.
I think coming off of Batman and Robin, people might have lost faith in live-action Batman a little bit. So they're like, oh, we're getting another Batman reboot? Oh, okay. And then it was like, oh, wait, this is good. Fernando for 7 months. Love you, Beardo, but my Niners are about to steamroll the Giants tonight. Hey, you watch your mouth!
They're probably going to do it.
I hope not. But the Giants do have a lot of injuries. Saquon Barkley's out. But yeah, Giants 49ers tonight. That should be a good Thursday night football matchup. Clown for 2 months. Hey, Jeremy, where can I get that hoodie, bro? The U.S. flag with the Geeks and Gamers logo is rad.
They still might be on 221B. We had a campaign running on 221B. I'm not sure if it's still active, but if people are still interested, we can see if I can get those back available.
Anakmamon for 6 months. Hey, Jed, nice seeing you. Some of the members and I think you look like one of the O'Doyles from Billy Madison. Would you please raise your fist and say, O'Doyle's rules? I would greatly appreciate it.
O'Doyle's rule!
It's O'Doyle rules. It's not O'Doyle's. It's O'Doyle rules.
Seen the movie in 10 years, so I don't remember.
O'Doyle rules. And you don't have to say it like, just be like, just say, look at me and Beardo, say, hey guys, who rules? And we'll do it. So just say it to us.
Okay.
Say it, Jed. Say, hey guys, who rules?
Hey guys, who rules?
O'Doyle
rules!
Jesus.
CMU Elite V-Day Viper became a member. Holy shit, that's a hell of a name. Steven Wassick gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Steven. Dr. Rachel Lindberg for 23 months. Holy smokes, says scanning in for the Geeks and Gamers Awards. Will Big Corn Company be catering the event? We're going to have our people reach out. Sierra Tan for $5. If you're going to bring up black girls, can you show the clip of Damn Woman?
Damn. Let me see if I can find that really quick. Right here. Here we go.
gonna crawl again.
Damn. Dougie B dropped another 50.
Woo!
And says Beardo's beard, Jed's hat, and Jeremy's hoodie, all brought to you by Doug B.
Hell yeah.
That's really good. That's really good. Steven Wasick dropped 5 gifted memberships.
Yep.
And said, I just gifted MCU fan a membership. Let's
Hell yeah.
freaking go. He's going to be big mad now. So MCU fan, I saw MCU fan was yelling not to read Steven's super chat. Hang on. Where did it go? You keep reading. I'll see if I can find it.
Yeah. Gremlin for a 10. Watch Mickey's diversity games. It explains a lot in movies nowadays.
What was it?
Watch Mickey's diversity games. It explains a lot in movies now.
Oh, here it is right here. Don't read Steven's super chat. He was spamming. So not only did I read it, let me highlight it as well. Here we go. I just gifted MCU fan a membership. Let's freaking go. He's going to be big mad now.
He's going to be pissed. He's going to be pissed. Dragon Dan for $5. For your Game Awards, can all the guys wear tuxedo t-shirts? Also, how about Game of the Year for past years? We've actually discussed that of going back and seeing who won Game of the Year at the Game Awards and then giving our award. But tuxedo shirts, man, I got 2 suits over here in my closet. I'm wearing a fucking suit.
I'll wear the tuxedo t-shirt.
Doug B for $5. Geeks and Gamers Daily, brought to you by MCU Fan. Objectively a cat for $5. Mr. Krista hates clothes. CLOWJS. Maybe it's clowns. Maybe that's a typo. Mr. Krista hates clowns. They just can't stand. What the? Objectively, cat, are you drunk?
No,
It is 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is this one? Hang on. Is this one? Where's Objectively a Cat's super chat?
Every time they said clowns, it's been misspelled.
Yeah, with
Mr.
a J,
Krista,
right?
With a J, and then with an E, and then with a V.
That's because MCU fan gets really worked up and types really fast and always messes words up.
Oh, okay.
So when MCU fan gets really overwhelmed by the chat, apparently, and again, this is the lore that I learned because I kept seeing people saying like all of these, like they were misspelling all these words, and I'm like, I don't understand what the hell's going on. Then I looked into it, and it is so that's what it is.
Summer Soldier became a new member. Thank you, Summer Soldier, for joining. Raven Rainfall for 4 months. Thank you, says 199. Archer Blades for a month because you're tired because you are tired of Star Wars. Maybe try a Gundam anime, Iron Blood, Orphans, 00 or 00, Origin, or the 79 original. Free your soul from Earth's gravity. Siege Xeon.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm enjoying One Piece anime right now. Sorry, I yawned. I'm enjoying One Piece anime a lot, and I'm really looking forward to getting further into that. And clearly, that's going to take up a lot of my free time by just watching One Piece. It's crazy.
Over on Rumble for $1, Vault 95 Survivor says Beardo for Halloween. You can dye your beard and be Jack Murphy. I'd have to shave my head too and completely lose all sense of self-respect. Daniel Valencia for 2 months. I'm enjoying One Piece and it's more than the sum of its parts. But some of the parts. But some of the acting and production is alarmingly bad and no one is addressing that.
I don't know if I agree with that.
I've said this before to you, even Jeremy, about One Piece and its praise that it's getting, and people say I'm almost thinking that while it's good and people are enjoying it, are people enjoying it because of the lack of good content and entertainment out there? That we've been deprived and dry of good adaptations that we are confused and we're thinking that it might be a little bit better than it actually is.
Says the person that thinks BVS is good.
It is good.
I
the Ultimate
actually
Edition.
agree with Beardo. on this one. I got to side with him on this one, as strange as that sounds.
No, it's based. The reason people are loving it is because it's based off the single most popular anime manga ever, which is One Piece. One Piece is the best selling manga ever. Now, with that said, we have seen Cowboy Bebop, we've seen Death Note, we've seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, we've seen them ruin so many of these things. One Piece, it's like Mahler the other day. Mahler, now this is what I'd heard. Mahler, just because Gary said to watch it, Mahler was like, I'll just sit down and watch the first episode to kind of get the gist of it. He ended up watching the entire series because he loved it so much. You know what I mean? And but I think that One Piece, the characters are great, the casting is great, and the world is interesting. It is a very go ahead though, Jed. I'll let you continue to make your point.
So yeah, in general, I've watched a couple episodes now, and it's definitely not for me. So part of my opinion is absolutely going to be biased. I'm not a big fan of the over the top, the crazy physics and whatnot, and the very stylized nature of the show. So I am definitely a little bit biased, but I do believe that it's just not as good as people are saying. It's still fine, but like the characters are very shallow in my opinion. Zoro's the only one who's even remotely interesting to me. And I do feel like it might be overhyped to a strong degree because Beardo might have a good point with that. And I do know a lot of One Piece super fans in my life who have watched the anime several times, 1,000 episodes several times, and they're coming to the same perspective as I am, is that it's very mid, maybe above mid, maybe like a 6 or a 7, just like, hey, it's better than, a lot of these others, but it's
like
nowhere.
we're not saying it's bad.
No,
we're saying
not
that
in the least.
It is good, but
Phenomenal.
We're putting it over the top because we've been so deprived of good adaptations.
Well,
so now we get this thing that's semi good. We're like, we got goo goo eyes over it.
No. I disagree completely. It is resonating with people because the characters, and I disagree that Zoro's the only interesting character. You clearly haven't watched the entire series because there's a lot of interesting characters and their backstories are really good. And Zoro is fantastic, by the way, but Nami's story
Zoro's
is
my
excellent.
favorite character in the entire show.
Nami's character is excellent and her story is really good. Now, there's an argument to be made, and I've already seen this in the anime. There is so much more depth to the stories and the characters and the character arcs in the anime because of course they are. It's just like Gary was saying the other day. Lord of the Rings, I think they're the greatest movies ever made. Most people think that they're all-time great movies. Are the books far better and have far more depth to? Of course they do. Because it's always good. The books or an anime or a manga is always going to have far more depth. But in terms of the live action One Piece, it does a phenomenal job of connecting you to the characters, even if you don't know the universe. And I think that's why it's working, because it's enough to where it's not offensive to One Piece fans, but it's also good enough for normies that don't know anything about it. It does the job, regardless if you have interest or not. So I disagree with you guys completely. Hey, and I think you just need to get good. Or maybe I'll just call you racist and sexist.
Fuck! I'm never going to recover.
I don't have a strong enough opinion on it to really care. But yeah, I don't think it's bad. Far, far from bad. Just like, I'm not going to finish it. But that's just me.
I think it's fucking phenomenal. I'd say it's as good as the first, like, not quite as good, but right up there with the first season of Stranger Things. That's how much I love the season of One Piece. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. It's excellent.
Let's see. The Exalted Patriarch gifted 5 Geeks and Gamers memberships. Thank you, Exalted Patriot. Mark of Reality for $2. So what's wrong with day drinking? Did you go commie? Listen, day drinking, you can maybe justify it when you're watching football, you're sitting down, it's Saturday or Sunday, football's on early. If you want to enjoy a Michelada or a Bloody Mary in the morning, that's fine. But in the middle of a week, especially in the morning, I don't know. And I do enjoy my beer, but in the middle of a day and during the week, I don't know. I might take a pass on that. Can Do became a member. Thank you, Can Do. Jay Tapia for 5 months. Jeremy is right about the binge model. That is all.
I don't know if I mean, again, all I said about the binge model is it really just comes down to if it's good or not, then it doesn't really matter. People are going to talk about it, and that's really all that was the core premise of it is if things are good, it doesn't matter if it's binge or if it's released weekly. Like, yes, the weekly will keep people talking about it, I guess, over the longer period of time, but we're still talking about Stranger Things. We're still talking about One Piece. Everybody hates Ahsoka. Everybody hated Mandalorian season 3. So that's my way of looking at it.
Praise be Ara for $2 says Ara.
Hurrah.
Hurrah. Mr. Parker for $5. Batman v Superman is the best movie ever. Said no one ever. I never said it was the best movie ever. I just said I enjoyed it. Chris Cran for 2 months. Jeremy, please scan MCU fan in so he can eat corn the long way for Krista. And he needs a new Krista emoji for the chat. Rye the Guy for $5. Give out the Keith Olbermann Award to the biggest douchebag of the year. We'll keep that in mind.
He'll win that every year.
Yeah. Keith Olbermann might take home the Keith Olbermann Award. Derby Wormy for $5. For a normie One Piece, live action is amazing. For an anime fan like myself, it was okay at best.
That's been the perspective I've seen from a lot of diehard One Piece fans, is that it's fine.
Yeah,
I've
and I
seen that
mean,
a lot.
but again, so that's almost a huge win when you're talking about passionate anime fans.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Fine is far better than we've gotten, and yeah, anime fans can be very, very passionate. But I don't know. It's just
Well, yeah,
I have no strong opinions on One Piece.
So this is like this is just on the little bit of like that I found out about it, but like so Zoro's backstory in the anime is there's so much more to it. And I love the backstory in the live action, by the way, but the anime, there's so much more depth to it. There's so much more to it, and it connects you even more to the character. And so, obviously, if you're going into the live action as a anime fan that knows all of these stories, I 100% understand that because I've already seen it by watching the anime after the fact and seeing the depth of the stories within it. And yeah, like, so I totally get that. So that makes 100% sense. 100%.
A feline named Vijay for $2 says, Jed, I don't think your opinion actually matters.
Hey, to each their own.
Yeah. Rumble for $2. Contemporary compendium for $2 over on Rumble. I saw the first episode of One Piece yesterday. Action scenes were decent. Overall, it was boring. The whole pirate thing just isn't for me. But hashtag hail the 199, hashtag Trump 2024, and hashtag hail the Ripperverse.
Hail. Shadow Combat says, Jeremy literally hasn't read or watched One Piece, but thanks. Not thinks, but thanks. It's an amazing adaptation. Well, that's 100% wrong. And as I've said, even if you want to just do something as simple as, okay, so Zoro in the live action, they threaten or they, did the whole like, oh, you're going to tie up in the yard for 7 days. In the anime, it's 30 days. That's the whole point, right? Yeah, because I've watched it. And they did change up the story a little bit from the perspective of the little girl that brought what was it, rice balls or whatever it was, or whatever the food was she brought him. It was different because she brought that to him outside at the yard in the anime versus they twisted it up a little bit and how they perceived it in the live action. So yes, I have watched it and I understand that there are differences. So when you use the word literally, you might need to understand what that means. Also, thanks isn't the word you meant to say. It's thinks. So you can say that I don't know the world like a regular fan, but I have watched the anime because the live action has made me interested enough. But I watched the first several episodes of the anime before the live action even came out. So there you go.
Thank you, Shadow Knight. MCU fan for
Shadow Combat. That was Shadow Combat.
Oh, Shadow Combat. Sorry, Shadow Knight, for the mix-up. MCU fan for 4 months. I am not a simp! And stop calling me Mr. Krista! I'm sure the chat's going to love that. Dave Filoni's dog for $5. Do any of you guys drink? I need a recommendation for something to numb the pain of having a hack writer constantly putting his fingers inside me. For that, I would probably recommend Everclear. Desirius for $10. I've never watched One Piece before, but I was convinced to watch the live action. I was planning to only watch an episode to see if I liked it, and ended up watching all 8 episodes, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
What's your first thoughts for 5 months? There's a reason why this is the #1 show on Netflix, passing both Wednesday and Stranger Things in views. It's a great show. I mean, I'm not surprised. One Piece has a huge following.
And it's much more of a worldwide franchise than a lot of those other ones. So, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Corey Blumberg for $2. Jeremy became a One Piece expert in 3 weeks. It's amazing.
Hey, I was looking at so the fan reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are still stupidly high. And again, for an anime adaptation, that's crazy. But I want to look up the numbers, Netflix numbers review, or how do you even determine the fucking ratings?
Yeah, you have to do a little bit of extra legwork, but Netflix has a top 10 site, and they put in the views now, actually. Before it was just the watch hours, but now they included views.
Crispy for 3 months. Ahsoka is so boring, and that is worse than being bad. Hail to the 199.
I'm looking to see. I don't know if it beat Stranger Things or Wednesday. That's what I'm looking for.
I could believe Wednesday, but Stranger Things seems like a stretch.
For the first season of Stranger Things, I could see it, at least if you're talking about the first week or a couple weeks, like on One Piece has been out, because Stranger Things kind of came out of nowhere. I don't think there was a whole lot of hype for it before it came out, but then it was really good and it blew up, obviously. So if we're comparing the first 2 weeks of One Piece to the first 2 weeks of Stranger Things season 1, I see that as...
We got some
Here it
numbers.
is. One Piece sets Netflix viewer records, beating Wednesday and Stranger Things. For years, Netflix has been trying to get a live-action version of the anime off the ground. So here's Dexerto says, here, let me just share my screen. So right here, and again, I'm just reading this in real time. I didn't know it beat these records. That's crazy. One Piece breaks Netflix record held by Wednesday and Stranger Things. So right here, I want to see the specifics right here. One of many reasons that One Piece adaptation is so great is that blah 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 blah. Yeah. I want specifics as to what it did. This means that the series has broken the record previously set by season 1 of Strangers, Addams Family, Wednesday, season 4 of the widely popular Stranger Things, both ranked in #1 in 83 countries. So the amount of countries that makes a little more sense. The amount of countries is what it was.
That does make a lot of sense.
One of many reasons a One Piece adaptation is so great is that it translates to cultures across the globe, so much so that within the first few days of season 1 dropping, it hit the first spot on Netflix top 10 show chart in 84 different countries. So that's the record it broke. Okay, that makes sense.
Jay Tapia for a 199 says, exactly. It comes down to, is it good or not?
Yep.
Let's see. Koa Lee for $10. MCU fan is no longer Marvel Cinematic Universe fan, but Mika Cinematic Universe fan. Tomac for 20. I looked up what OPLA is. Opla. I looked up what Opla is getting in Japan. It got a 3.9 out of 5, while the anime got a 4.1 out of 5. Still so good.
Opla, I think that's One Piece live action.
I'm a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. I think an early retirement might be in the cards for Beardo.
Sure, Ryan.
Is it that hard to type out One Piece live action? Come on! Is it that hard? You're throwing me off here. You're making me look like an idiot.
That's your aha moment for like you're right. Apla.
It's not that hard. Just type in One Piece. Son of a bitch.
Oh God.
All right. Moving on. Carnage Undone for a 20. Just take your medicine, Jeremy. One Piece, or Apla, is mid at best. Also, Apla is the embodiment of a normie anime. People, again, are overhyping a show, and then they will be very disappointed in following seasons. In our sphere, it's going to go woke.
Well, I mean, the concerns about it going woke is 100% valid. In terms of like worrying about that, you always have to worry about that regardless. You just always have to. And anytime something gets massively popular, you worry about that. I mean, it still hasn't really happened with Stranger Things, luckily. Yeah, it's a valid concern. And again, I totally understand if One Piece fans do find it a bit disappointing because they know this world and they've seen the depth of the stories. So totally understand that.
Apla. Vault 95 Survivor for $1 over on Rumble. I ordered the first 3 One Piece mangas. Looking forward to it, but could it replace my top 2 favorite anime mangas? Girls und Panzer and the Saga of Tanya. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let us know, Vault 95 Survivor, if it does. Yankees fan for 3 months. How pissed off are the Cowboy Bebop people right now? Shows how if you respect the source material, you'll break records.
Yes, true. It's true.
The Wolframe Heart for 2 months. Apla! Praise Ara. Praise be Ara for $2 says Apla. Endor. Endor for $5. Me read good. Me no names. Me no words. Yes. Brian Young for $2. Apla for the win. Beardo, you got this. Man, I just fucking created something, didn't I?
Yes, Appleheimer.
Appleheimer. Oh no. I prefer Apla over other memes. Clark for $2. Praise be to Apla. A feline named JJ for $2. Jed, have you considered a turban or a beret?
I haven't, I haven't.
Thank you for the suggestion.
Oh my goodness.
The
I
old
say,
man. Yeah.
I missed my window, but we're still doing it. Shout out to Apla.
I know words. I have the best words. But there's no better word than stupid.
Thank you. The old man cometh became a channel member. Thank you. And Jeremy, it looks like we're all caught up.
We are all caught up.
That's it. Apla.
This is a damn good. This is a damn good episode of Geeks and Gamers Daily. So, thank you guys for being here.
We
Shout
actually
out
have one
to-
more that just came in. Lean
Okay.
back, have a snack, take a nap for 2 months. Says, "Give me back my Apla."
Praise be Ara says Apla English. Beardo Joe Dubs Beardo does Apla the long way. God dang it, so good. So again, gaming awards, the Geeks and Gamer Awards. We're working on making it happen. If you want to see that, please go over to the website and please consider donating, whether it's $1 or $10,000. We will take whatever you're willing to give.
Hell
we will
yeah.
take whatever you're willing to give, but we do need funding to continue to build this thing up. So hopefully you guys will consider going over there, supporting us directly. And we do appreciate it. Man, this has been a good episode. I've had fun.
Yo Pops for a $10 says, "Apla the Beardo." Thank you for the 10.
Oh man.
We also have
Fear
Vault
the
Survivor.
Apla.
We also have
no.
Vault Survivor for another $1 over on Rumble saying Opla is converted to digital is $1.99.
Corey Blumberg for $2. Beardo, no habla inglés.
That's great.
Oh, man.
Oh my God!
Beardo's
Shadow
about to go
Combat
take
says,
a hot opla.
Shadow Combat says, "I'll take that as a no." Jeremy didn't read the One Piece manga. That's not what you said. You said I've literally never read the manga or watched the anime. Now you're moving the goalpost. I've never said I've watched, read the manga. I literally never said that. You literally said that I literally didn't. Notice how I'm saying literally. Anyway,
Yeah.
Opla 199. Opla 199. Tomac, you did this, and it's appreciated. Tomac, you have created a new meme for G&G now.
Hell yeah.
So there you go.
Hell yeah.
The Opla.
Glad I can contribute.
I don't know why, but every time someone says Opla, this might not be something you guys get, but the chat will get it. I think of Appa from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I imagine Beardo saying Opla. Yep.
E1 Neo for $2 says Beardo's favorite musical, Phantom of the Opera.
Super Bass dropped 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Super Bass. Man, you guys are crazy today. But thank you so much for the support. It's been a really fun Geeks Gamers Daily. Shout out to our Rumble peeps over there. 400 people watching on Rumble. Great audience over there on Rumble. And again, great audience here on YouTube. Shout out to Rumble for being badasses. Yeah, Opla is now Beardo. There you go. Good
You're
job.
welcome. You're welcome.
Tomac and Beardo have helped make that one happen. So
Yeah.
There you go. Jed, what do you got going on?
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube and Kick at Hollywood Scholar. I'm going to try to stream some Witcher 3, and I also have a video coming out hopefully tonight after the cooking stream about the whole situation with Leslie Jones and just kind of diving into the whole idea of not being paid for what you're worth and the writer strike and incorporating all that together. But you can find that on Hollywood Scholar on YouTube.
All right. We got a member stream tonight for Fortnite. So if you guys are interested playing some Fortnite with our members, make sure you join us here tonight for that. Thank you so much for all the new gifties. Beardo, what do you got going on? Opla?
Yes. Hail Opla. And so me and Krista are doing another cooking stream this afternoon. I'm not exactly sure what time. I think we're going to wait on Jed, the Hollywood Scholar, to come over here to the Geeks and Gamers compound to help us set up some new equipment for the stream so that you guys have a better experience. So once Jed gets over here, we're going to set everything up, and we will be doing a cooking stream over on Geeks and Gamers Life. I will be making carne asada and authentic Spanish rice. And I think Krista is making cupcakes. I'm not too sure. Okay. So I'm making like a late lunch, early dinner, and Krista's making a dessert. So carne asada tacos and some cupcakes. So Geeks and Gamers Life shout out, and then that's pretty much about it.
Yep.
Opla.
So again, that will be on Geeks and Gamers Life. So make sure you guys are subscribed to Geeks and Gamers Life. The last stream they did a great job, so shout out to both of them for that. So I'm looking forward to it. All right, so this is how we settled the dispute. Shadow Combat says, so one is right, didn't read the manga, and the other is wrong. Watch the anime, but at least you're a Trump supporter. Hey,
hey, some common ground.
Hey, so.
Anakmamon for $5 just right now says, a rising tide raises Opla ships from Fear the Opla.
Oh, God. This is so good. Darian Murphy for $4.99 says, as my friend in high school once said, you can't say something stupid and just get away with it. Not on a Geeks and Gamers stream, that's for damn sure.
Never. That doesn't exist.
Remember Gary reading Last of Us 2 as T. Louis Part 2? Somebody put TL, like Last of Us TLOU, and he's like, T. Louis Part 2? T. Louis Part 2. I'm like, T. Louis Part 2? What the fuck is that?
What the fuck is that? Huh?
T. Louis. All right, guys.
Oh,
Thank you.
man.
Awesome episode today. Shout out to the guys for being here. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you for Fortnite tonight. Cooking stream over on Geeks and Gamers Life. So make sure you're subscribed to that one. This is the one with the orange logo. If we have mods, drop that in the chat right now. Geeks and Gamers Life. If you type it in, you should be able to find it. Thank you guys. Have a great day, and we will talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. Say bye,